Do you know the difference between your individual utilization rate and your overall utilization rate? Hey everybody, it's Shamika. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. Also hit the notification bell so that you can be kept current on my latest content. All right, so I'm going to try to make this really simple for you guys. Your utilization rate is nothing more than the percentage of credit used. Okay, I'll give you an example. If you have a $100 credit card and you used $30 of it, you have used 30% of your utilization. Your total utilization, or your total amount, of credit available is $100, but you use $30 of it, which means you use 30%. The easiest way to do the math is take the $100 times 0.30, and that will give you whatever your limit is that you can use. So if you have a $200 credit card and I say, I don't want you to go over 30%. So let's do 200 times 0.3, that's $60. So that means in order to keep your utilization rate to 30% or less, which is highly favorable when you want to achieve those high credit scores. Even if you can get it lower than 30%, that is what you want to do. But if you want to figure out what your utilization rate is, all you do is take the credit limit that you have available on a card, which is, like I said, for example, we would use the $200 and we times it by 0.30, which is 30%. If you figured it out in fraction, all that good old stuff, you'll find out it's $60. So that is how you can figure out your go-to amount to keep your individual cards at 30% or less. Now, that is how you do your individual utilization rate. Now, how do you do your overall utilization rate? So pretty much the overall utilization rate is the same process, but what you're going to do here is you're going to add up all of your credit card limits. So we're going to say I have a two $100 credit cards and I have a $200 credit card. So that's 3 credit cards, right? 100 and 100 plus my 200, that's $400 I have in total available credit. Now, if I want to find out what I need to be at to have 30% utilization rate overall, this is how much I can spend within my 3 credit cards overall. So I'm going to take the 400 times the 0.3, and that's going to leave me with $120. So that means within those 3 credit cards, I can only spend $120 between the 3. Okay. Now, what happens if I use, I'm at 30% on my $100 card. I'm at 30% utilization on my other 100% credit card. But on my $200 credit card, I'm at my $200 limit. Well, your utilization rate is going to go up, and you're now going to be using 65% of your total overall utilization. Now, I'm going to show you how I got that before I move on. Remember, we have the $100. We spent $30 of it. That is 30% utilization rate. I also spent another $30 on my other $100 credit card. That's the 30% utilization rate. Now, on my last card, like I said, I had $200 and I used the whole 200. That gives me a 100% utilization rate. Now, I'm going to take my $400 and I'm going to actually not take the 400 yet. I'm going to take the amount that I've spent total on my credit cards. So I've spent 260 from the 30 on the 100, the other 30 on the 100, and the 200 from the last card. So that is 260. And I'm going to divide that by my total credit available. And my total credit available was the $100 on the one card, the $100 on the other card, and the $200 on my last card. So that is my total credit available is 400. So I'm going to take my 260, divide by, and then I'm going to put 400 in, and that gives me 0.65. So that tells me my overall utilization between all three of my cards is at 65%. Now, does that hurt you or does that matter? It absolutely does matter. First of all, thank you guys for going through the math portion with me. I hope I did not confuse you, but I did want to explain how you get the difference between your individual utilization and your overall. So both of them matter, okay? So you should always strive to keep your individual utilization rate at 30% or less, but you should also strive to keep your total utilization to 30% or less. Now, what happens if my utilization total is high? Well, here are some things that you can do. You can open trade lines. I would not say go out and apply for different credit cards, because if you do and you don't get approved, you got a hard inquiry, your score is going to decrease, and so it's not really worth it. I would only do things that are guaranteed. So if you want to do things like my jewelry club, or if you want to do things like self-lender, where they're guaranteed to give it to you, and those links are going to be below below the video. So if you want to do things like that are guaranteed to be approved, you can do that to help counterbalance your utilization, to give you some room so that 65% can start shrinking. And the reason that it starts shrinking is because you're now adding more credit available. For example, if you did the My Jewelry Club and it gives you the $5,000, well, can you imagine what that $5,000 is going to do now to your utilization rate? Well, I'm going to show you. So we're going to still keep the $260. But we're going to divide now, instead of by 400, now say you added that $5,000 card. So now you got $5,400 available in total credit. So 260 divided by 5,400, your new utilization rate, well, it's almost off the charts. Let me do that again, because I think I did something wrong. Oh yeah, no, your utilization rate actually goes down to less than zero. So if you actually were to do something like that, your utilization would be perfect, because it would be zero for the overall. But individually, it would be different. Individually, your $200 card would still have 100%. Utilization, and your other $100 cards will still have 30%. But because you added the 5,000, it killed your overall utilization rate. But individually, it's still suffering. So again, you still want to keep your scores 30% or less. That actually is desirable. That is what banks want to see. They want to know that you can be responsible with a certain amount of money they're going to give you, especially if you're trying to get credit cards and things like that. So you do want to keep those utilization rates lower. So ultimately, just adding trade lines to boost your overall utilization. It does help for whatever you may need it for, especially if you're trying to get a loan or something like that. If you're trying to go out and get a car or a house because you want to have a higher credit score, that's great. But long term, especially right now during the pandemic, if you're trying to get a credit card, they're not necessarily looking just at that you have that $5,000 credit card. They're not impressed by that anymore. Now they want to see how risky you are. So if you have cards that are approaching 70% or more, it is time to go in the other direction and pay that down, so that you can look more responsible. Of course, anything over 30 is considered not desirable, but the higher you get to 100%, the worse you start looking. So I just wanted you guys to understand how you can boost your utilization. But I also wanted you guys to understand that it is equally important to keep your individual utilization rates as low as you do your overall utilization rate. Okay. You can finesse credit by adding trade lines, doing authorized users and things like that for, like I said, for quick things you're trying to get, car, house, you want to qualify for something really fast. You can manipulate your credit for that. But long term, you want to start getting real money from the bank. You want to start getting high limit credit cards. It's not just adding trade lines anymore. You have to start showing that you're responsible with the credit that you get. Excuse me. So I hope you guys learned something new. And thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. And hit the notification bell. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.